My name is Anjani B Kuumar and welcome to my channel. In Transformators today, we are going to meet someone who has been a real underdog in his corporate journey. The person has achieved exponential success in his life, in his career, and has started with a lot of disadvantages in terms of struggling with even the basic knowledge of English and picking up things on his way towards his growth in the corporate journey. The person has been a part of some of the best companies in the country, has played great roles in developing a lot of processes, systems in these companies, and has been recognized across the country for his work in his field. He comes from the IT domain and he has been recognized as one of the best CIOs in the country for many years consistently. So this is a great story where the person has started small but has been able to reach the pinnacle of the corporate world at a CXO level. He is one clear example who has been able to achieve that 8-figure salary which I keep talking about. So this person is Ajay Meher. Let's meet Ajay Meher and learn from his corporate journey. Hi Ajay. So happy to have you on the channel and for this conversation. And thank you for spending time for this.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, Anjani, and it is indeed a pleasure to be along with you for this session. I'm also excited to be part of this.
No, that's amazing. In fact, it's great. As you know that, in this series called the Transformators, we meet people with whom, at some point in time I've worked, I've supported them in some manner. And it's so happy to now, go through their journeys, what they have achieved in their careers. So that's something which is very amazing. And the whole idea is that all the success that these people have achieved, viewers should get benefited by that. If they can pick some elements from these success stories, I think that will be the real benefit of, doing this series. So
indeed a great series. Thank you for starting this one, and I think a lot of people will get benefit out of it. Great series.
Yeah, that's the idea. So anyway, I've as far as the viewers are concerned, I've just given them some idea in terms of who you are, what you have achieved. But it's always good to hear the success story from the person himself. So it'll be great if you can just take them through your journey, your career, what you have achieved, and what are some of the key differentiators that have helped you become successful in this journey.
Sure. So maybe I'll start with my career when I did my engineering and started my journey over there, and I was a good hardware engineer, computer hardware engineer, started with that as a customer support executive for an organizations. Then I gradually thought that it is a good idea to be part of the business rather than being part of the IT support. And that's where I started with a company called CMS Computers, and then with Crompton Grips, that is a computer divisions of Crompton Grips, CG Informatics. From there, I moved to Philips, and on the other side of the tables, where I was part of the IT team of that organizations, and stayed over there for almost 10.5 years, which is a great stint over there. So what I did over there is started learning the businesses, did their ERP implementations, and from there, of course, looked into the other geography of Philips. And not only I restricted myself within India, I looked into Asia Pacific, and certain programs of Philips I took care for the global. So that has added a lot of advantages in my career. So first thing is the cross-cultural things over there when you learn of the other people, and that has added a lot of advantages over there. Not only IT is one functions, but IT, the way people perceive, that is very different from places to places. And something I learned over there, that there is nothing called 0 and 1 in IT, which we always talked about, that there is a positive 0 or 1 over there.
Yeah.
That 0 can be perceived in 1 in some way and all these things. So how do you know? It is all human, and you being a core HR persons, you know that how the humans are getting dealt. Maybe on a technology functions, you need to be knowing how to deal with the human. And that's where I learned that, hey, let's do something which is meeting the expectations of the persons to whom or for whom you are working for, or you are providing a services.
Yeah.
So that's a great learning over there. Post that, I joined Sony Pictures, and under your leadership. So that is something I can say that it has put me onto a different level of my career over there. And why should I say that is, I got the leadership positions in IT along with Sony, and all of a sudden the way I looked into the things changed, structurally changed over there.
Yeah.
So it indeed helped me. And it's great that you are there to support in most of the places where I was facing challenges with respect to the, when you deal with the people, deal with the stakeholders and all these things. So learned a lot with you during that my tenure over there. I stayed in Sony for almost 11 and a half years, which is again a huge stint over there. And not only I got a lot of success over there, and because I started with IT, and then I moved to the digital functions of Sony Pictures, and then also I took care of the broadcast operations and all. So if I look back, what I did over there is started picking up additional responsibility, and when I picked up additional responsibility, the accountability increases drastically.
Yeah.
So the challenges with respect to how to deliver, how to become a successful in each and every aspect comes in a bigger way over there. So that's something, things over there I can definitely learn from, experience, and deliver a lot of good things which till today Sony Pictures is using. So that's something I feel good about it. Post that, after Sony, I have always a eagerness to learn the business over here rather than the technology.
Yeah.
And so each and every time I have a inclinations to understand a business verticals. Yeah. And how does the technology will make sense to that business vertical. So rather than being in the core of a technology function, I started moving from industry to industry. And from Sony, I picked up educations. Educations is something from a, and the theme of current business is digital. And each and every person is looking digital, how to make their functions more digital oriented, how to transform the businesses more into digital. That's something people are looking at, and that's my core strength. And I actually work a lot to improve that strength, periodically over the time, etc. So when I joined Ampersand Group, which is again a large conglomerate with educations, my core responsibility was to build a go-to-market product, which Ampersand Group can take it as a digital product, as an online product, which they can take it to the market to grow their business. And over there, I worked over there to make a educational OTT product, which is being used, and it is a separate line of business today along with Ampersand.
Yeah.
Post Ampersand, I thought I will start doing something on my own, and started something which is creating my own products.
Yeah.
But investment, etc., play major roles when you are looking into this particular journey. Maybe I learned that it could be a difficult things over there, and many of the times, to get into the next leap of the success, you may need to take one step behind. And probably that's a phase I think that it is a hold back myself, think structurally, and do something very different. As a CIO or a CTO, I worked for almost like 14 years or 15 years, rather I'll say that 15 years, and said that what else I should be doing now. Yeah, and bring back a thought process which once upon a time you told me that change your track when the track is getting obsolete. And that's something I picked up and said that let me get into a core business now. And it is enough of being in IT functions. And I have taken up a responsibility with Tata Elxsi as their global practice head for media and new media. So that's my new role, and that's something I have started from today, and that's very interesting to talk about it.
But that's very interesting. Congratulations for that.
Thank you. And I'm sure doing something with a core business, creating product and services, innovating something a customer is looking for, because I was there for that particular functions for almost like 14 years. So I know what my peers would be looking for. Yeah. So that's something I need to envisage. I need to innovate. I need to pick up the trends and create something for Tata Elxsi and doing something relevant for my erstwhile peers, I can say. And
Absolutely.
So that's my career journey so far. There are definitely great learning, great success, and of course I have good mentors on my journey which helped me a lot in this particular journey.
No, that's amazing. And I think clearly, some of the things that really stand out is your ability to obviously keep learning all the time. And that my channel, this YouTube channel, is all about coaching and learning. That's where I try to help people. So while you have given certain examples, in terms of in your career also how you kept changing things, learning new things. But specifically, would you like to tell the viewers that what role coaching and learning has played in your career so far?
Coaching and learning is something I think it has to go along. And that's something at any stage of the life. You might be in the peak of your career, and you should be looking into how and what is your next pick. And learning is something which is helping you over the time. So each and every time, I should say that I have come from a vernacular background, and when I looked into myself, when I started my journey, I had a lot of bottlenecks. The bottlenecks are even speaking English.
Yeah.
Because coming from Orissa and all across my career, all my educations was in the Orissa state government boards and all these things. So when I started my career, I immediately realized that to succeed in this world, you need to have three critical traits. And that three critical traits is, one is you can't say that I am coming from a small town. You have to compete, and the playground is equal over there. And in this playground, there are people coming from each and every part of the globes and all these things. So how to compete along with them? So rather than feeling a sorry faces, you need to be catching up with respect to that. And many part of my initial career, I started doing something which is more of learning, taking some extra classes, doing something during my off hours, so that I can start picking it up and compete my peers at that particular moment.
Yeah.
Second things which I said, that rely on the good people in this ecosystem. So you may feel that you may know that there are good, successful people all around. And these successful people always put a helping hand towards everyone. And try to find out who are these people who can help you. Never hesitate to go to these people, ask for feedback, ask for suggestions, and get their help to know that what is the right approach to do something.
Yeah.
So always seek for help, and we are living in a good world where there are definitely good people are around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Third thing is try to be honest and ethical. Okay, so there is no issue if you have done something wrong and all these things. So mistakes can be repaired, and mistakes can be, but provided we know personally, we know that we have done a mistake, and rather than defending, commit, agree, and move ahead and see that what is the right approach. So definitely have a ethical thought process, a honest thought process, honest to yourself. That is very, very critical, and that's, I think, I have learned throughout my career, and that's I try to always pick up whenever I do something. Maybe that's something I can say, and it's always helped me during all my career on the learning point of view. And the most critical is try to learn something which is next level. It may be on your own domain, it may be on a business domain, or there is something called I'll pick up your world view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct,
so what is the world view? Yeah. What do you know about it? Can you converse with somebody with that particular person? And icebreakers conversations are extremely critical in a corporate world, and that's something I believe it is extremely critical.
No, that's very rightly said, Ajay. And this. So there are two things here. So one, I must tell the viewers, because your story is of a real underdog. Achieving something amazing, right? And being an underdog is the most advantageous thing in your life if you really want to use it. Because people think that, probably, not knowing the language or not being able to very converse in English is a weakness. No, in fact, that is something which you can make as your strength, and you can work on it, and you can really use it in a manner where you start understanding personalities in a much better way, rather than, so conversation is not just about the language. It's much more than that.
Yes.
And the second thing is that, there's this constant learning thing. Even I remember when I moved from HR to business side, I went and studied finance at Asian Institute of Management, Manila. I went for a course, even at that stage. So I think that's constant learning, that desire to learn, upskill yourself is very critical. And one of the things, I see today, and which probably I would like to seek your view also, is corporate professionals I see today are primarily dependent on their companies to invest in their learning, right? But the West is very different. People, invest so much in their own learning. And even at this stage, if I look back, in fact, last year itself, I have spent almost 4 lakhs in my personal learning, by doing some great international courses in certain new areas. What is your view on that?
Absolutely, you are bang on. And, there is no age bar with respect to learning. And something I am doing at this moment from IMB, education's short programs, a 7-month program. And this is something is critical. And
you must be spending a lot of money for that, sorry.
Yeah. It is a good amount of money, somewhere around 3.8 lakhs rupees. Yeah. And so it is not about, so when you are going to bat, you need to have a bat along with you. Right? That is a basic. So when I thought of picking up something very different in my career, I need to be knowing the various aspects of that particular business. Okay, so what is my tools to succeed over there? So like you've given an example of finance. So being a technology person, can I know more about the various aspects of finance? Can I know the various aspects of maybe HR functions, etc.? So when you getting into a role of, changing your track, what is coming on that particular track is preemptive attempting that particular things and getting ready for that. It is not that always you can learn from your work itself, because it will be slowing you down over there. So that is the reason, getting into that particular track, you need to have a better shoes at least. Yeah. So learning something over there, picking up a right courses some of the time. So like in my career, I probably done lot of courses like creating your IT centric, learning how to manage a Cisco routers, to how to manage a ITIL functions, which is typically doing something on Microsoft, something on Google, etc., which is coming on my way. You can take a online course which is costing you lesser or free, to a expensive course. You need to choose that, and that's something you need to be picking it up. And probably you need to spend at least 1 hour per day, and at least your weekend 2 to 3 hours you should be fixing it up for your self learning, because that's only will be helping you. It is not only the accessories, clothes and all these things, that's also critical. And but your self development is also one of the major critical aspects which you always should be thinking of.
True. So coming back to, again, our association and where, I got to work with you, and, and then I remember a lot of, those coaching conversations where, we used to sit and plan out your career journey. Do you think, those conversations really helped?
Yes. So I'll tell you very candidly what I learned from you. One is corporate presence. You keep on talking about it. Because many of the times, I personally do not know, when you grow up, hierarchy, you need to behave accordingly. You need to talk accordingly. Whenever you should not be feeling shame when you are talking someone and all this thing. That's the typical corporate presence, and that's something I have learned from you. You are the person who always post a meeting, always tell me you should have done this better. And that's always helped me something. Second thing which I always pick up, that you creates the importance of a planning. So whenever we did any projects or any kind of strategic activity, way ahead activity, you always put a thought process that, hey, planning is the most critical aspect on the life. And you actually allow us to spend good amount of the time to say that before getting into the executions mode, get into the planning mode. So that's something is extremely critical, which I always pick up in my life and always do that. And the third thing, maybe I'll say that what I have learned from you is the stakeholder management.
And that's very important at senior levels.
At senior level, very, very critical. It is not only doing your job, it is also managing the critical stakeholders. So I still remember one of the things which you said, that understand the corporate in a positive way, understand the powerhouses in a corporate, and know that what is your game over there. So that is corporate is not a bad thing over here, but corporate in a place like any place that way, there are personal aspects comes into the picture. So how you navigate through that particular things is something I think I have learned a lot from you.
In fact, I remember, since you said, I remember, making a presentation to, all you guys called The Game, and where we actually talk about, how this whole corporate game needs to be played. And but Ajay, what's really important is, one, obviously, there are coaches and people available to give you inputs, but I think a lot depends on the coaches also, how well they are able to imbibe those inputs, because not necessarily everybody understands the value of things which are being told, and I think that plays a very crucial role in one's success, right?
Yes. So it's both the way. Handshaking only happens when two hands gets lifted, and you can't teach somebody who is not listening you, or you can't learn something when someone is not talking about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that something is beautiful. And I think what I try to do, because in my life I got a lot of good mentors, and I always have respect for these mentors. And today I have picked up certain roles like that. When I go in my life, in my career, and all these things, I pick up the right candidates who I believe that has the ability to go to the next level,
True.
and I invest onto them.
Yeah.
And that's something I think this is the ecosystem probably we need to be building up. If I have learned from somebody, I can teach you because I've learned it from you, so I have to give it to someone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the chain probably we need to build up, and that's precisely we are trying to do over here.
True. No, and for what I feel is very important, and today in the current context, see, there's a large population which is entering the corporate world, and unfortunately, the corporate world has become so competitive, and even companies, they have their own priorities. So the investment in learning is getting very limited.
Absolutely.
Because the way, you would remember, companies like Hindustan Lever or ITC, they used to invest in building talent. That is not happening today. And my whole objective is that, for the people, who are probably in the 0 to 5 years bracket, how we can prepare them to become the next CXOs. That's very important. And the other very strong belief I have is that compared to the developed countries, in India, the salary levels at that, range is very low, except for, IIMs and IITs and all, where, you get good package. But otherwise, people don't earn that kind of money, They sell themselves very cheap. So one thing, I do on my YouTube channel is to clearly show them the dream of, earning an 8-figure salary, 1 crore salary, right? And people get scared. And, now, I know your journey, and I know at what level we had started working together, and how you could make that happen, reach that CXO level. So do you think, it'd be great if you can tell these youngsters, that this is something which is possible?
Yep. Yeah. So I will pick up the dialogues from Three Idiots.
Okay.
पैसे के पीछे मत भागो, or rather don't run behind this success over there. Do the job rightly, and the things will fall in line.
Yeah.
So there are something in IT language we said that input, process, output. Okay. So have the right kind of input. The right kind of input is self-develop yourself, do right thing for the things over there, for the organizations, for self and organizations, deliver the right things over here, execute the proper projects, proper strategy, etc. The organization started looking at it, and that's where the salary also will follow. Because by virtue of doing the right thing, we are making ourselves as one experienced, has the ability to deliver the output, and can do something wonderful for the organization.
Yes. Yeah.
Once we do that, automatically either the same organization will value you, or somebody else will value you. Right. So I strongly believe that right kind of skills, that is the right kind of salary is available in the country, and do not chase for it on the initial part of the career, and do not change your job only because you are earning something immediately, maybe a 20% salary escalation happening when you are doing a job. First, emphasize on the input, the aspect of your self-development, the aspect of being a good, experienced, skillful person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once we do that, automatically the process will push you for a regret output.
Correct. Correct.
I hope it is making sense to you.
No, absolutely. And the only thing is, which today I see is people don't try to aim big. That's the issue, because they get scared. And I remember, when I was working with, you and some of the other guys, and this was, more than 10 years back, right? And that time, even that 8-figure salary and all used to be a crazy thing, right? And still, at that time also you guys could achieve it. So even today,
Yes.
it's not so difficult, and that's what people have to understand.
It's not difficult, and I'm sure with the right kind of skill acquisitions, I think that is absolutely doable. And companies, definitely, many companies definitely eager to pay you if you have that kind of right skill.
Absolutely. And that's why I always tell people that, if you add more value, you become more valuable.
Absolutely.
That's
The
what happens.
value comes. Yes, absolutely. So you need to be having that kind of value, because you are a skilled HR person. You will be not paying a salary to a particular person if you are not getting 2x from that particular person
Yeah.
for the organization,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I'm earning a 8-figure salary, at least I should be delivering multiples of that salary to the organization. Then only somebody will pay for it, and for that you need to be valuable. You need to have the right kind of value.
Correct. So great. I think, it has been a great conversation. So I think, probably to conclude, if you have to give, 3 advice to the youngsters, and the viewers who are watching this interview, what would be those 3 things that you would like to tell them?
Okay, so learn daily. It is a routine. The way you need to be doing 2 things for sure: physical and mental. That's 2 things needs to be performing well. So exercise daily and learn daily. That is the 2 things everybody should be doing.
Yeah.
So exercise for your physical conditioning, and learning is for your mental conditioning. Second thing is understand your style. Each and every, all of us got our own style. We may have, somebody is very aggressive, somebody is moderate, someone maybe the way they would like to work is very silently, etc. But understand your style, and work accordingly. Do not change your style because somebody else in your peer groups might be doing better because his style is different. I'm putting a Sehwag will not bat well if he will be picking up a Rahul Dravid styles over here. So that is the reason, at least in the initial part of it, make your style as your own style and bat accordingly, work accordingly. Third thing is have a benchmark for yourself. Define your success. What is success for you? So maybe you can think of a long-term plan for yourself, maybe an intermediate plan for yourself, and see that how are you achieving. Each and every act of yours, may it be learning, maybe a career, maybe a job change, should be helping you to achieve that particular things. Do not deroot yourself because you might be getting 10% extra on a different job, but that is changing your the long-term strategy. So do not do that, because if you have defined your strategy, unless that is absolutely not working, rework on your strategy. But if you have dreamt about a strategy, you have a plan, work towards it to see you are achieving that one. I think that's 3 things I strongly believe each and every person who is entering to the career, entering to a corporate world, should be picking it up to succeed.
No, very rightly said, because this constantly learning, it's so important. And unfortunately, even the thing that you said about, having your own style and on your own way of working, I see a lot of people, just trying to be somebody else, just to,
Yeah,
obviously please the system, or, and then you can never succeed
correct.
if you take that approach. So that's really amazing. And I think, and my whole idea is that, because today with the internet, knowledge has got democratized. It's available everywhere. That's
Everywhere.
that's the beauty of it. And even my YouTube channel is focused on that only, because whatever I
Absolutely.
know, I just want to give it back to everybody, whoever can get benefited by that. And another thing, which I just tell people is uh, learn from people who have actually done it themselves.
Absolutely.
That's very critical. And that's the reason, I'm interviewing people like you and some of the others who have achieved that tremendous success, because when I tell people that people can, achieve that, 8-figure salary, not so difficult, there are examples, and there are so many people, obviously, you are there, and many of them, I'll interview, who have done it, who have achieved, that pinnacle of their career. And that's what, should inspire people to go after that. And that would ultimately, help the whole ecosystem also, because, once we create this culture of learning, once we start creating those future CXOs, I think everybody will get benefited, right? That's
Yes,
very
yes.
critical. So great, Ajay. It was amazing, having this conversation with you, and I'm sure viewers would have picked up, a lot of clues from your story, and they would implement in their own journey. They will also get benefited by that. So thank you for spending this time from your busy schedule, and I again wish you all the best for your new job, and I'm sure you will do equally well there also.
Pleasure is mine, and thank you for having these conversations. And I'm sincerely hoping I will be making some changes to anybody's life. That will be my success over here.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot.
So I'm sure you would have liked this interaction and have picked up a lot of stuff from the journey of Ajay, and would like to implement in your career, in your regular corporate life. And these are very small things, again, as you would have noticed, like things about learning every day, being yourself. Now, these are very basic things that one needs to follow. And you have seen that by doing this, what Ajay has been able to achieve. So if you have liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends so that they can also learn from the journey of these great people by watching this series Transformators. And if you have any suggestions, any comments, put them in the comment section and I'll answer them personally. And now I'll see you in the next episode of the Transformators. Till then, thank you very much for watching.